Hello, everybody. So a lot of people ask me how to do a wrap on a cup, and I figured I would just show you my process and the way that I do it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do this on a stainless just so you can all see better. So I have a stainless steel cup, sanded, and what I did was I laid down a piece of tape. Now, the reason that I want to put this piece of tape on here is to make sure that I have a straight start line for placing my vinyl. This is probably the most critical step in doing it. I know a lot of people don't do it, and they don't have any problems. But me, I've had so many go so completely wrong that I wanted to find a way to make sure that when I start it, it's going to be right. So what I do is I'll take a piece of tape and I'll put my tumbler up straight. I will make sure that my tape goes straight across the top here. At this point, it's perfectly straight and coming down. And then what I do is I pull it over to the edge of my table and I hang it off the edge. I bring my tape down, so you're just basically attaching any painter's tape to the top, line it up, and just let this fall and let it pull out enough so that it hangs off the table. And I don't think you can see now because I'm not there, but you're going to let it just hang straight and then just guide it on. It should fall perfectly straight down. You may have to adjust it a little tiny bit, but that's okay, because as long as you have a nice straight start, then you're good. Then you want to take your template, your vinyl. So I have my vinyl, and I like to weed off my cup when I'm doing the stainless steel, just because, I don't know, I think it goes on a little bit smoother for me. So that's what I do. And what I'll do is I cut away all the excess from the top and the bottom, which are also important to align properly. And then I have one side that's completely cut off, and then this side here I leave my sticky tape, my transfer tape, a little bit out. What you want to do is you want to roll your paper over. You want to gently, making sure that you're releasing your vinyl, and pull it back like maybe an inch or so off of your tape. And sometimes it's thick, so you want to kind of get in there, release those pieces. It's easier to pull, I find, the backing off of the vinyl than. And what I'll do is I'll bring it back, like maybe an inch or 2 inches. I don't want to go any more than that because I don't want the thing to slap onto the cup, because that's when it always goes bad. Now, then you want to take your cup and you want to prop your cup. So what I do is I have this nice little, I put a cutting board here. I'll push this back into this, and I lay my cup right on the edge of my table so that my tape is straight up. I can want to double check it just to make sure that this is straight. This line is nice and straight here. And then what I'm going to do is this flat edge that goes across here, I'm going to align this to my tape. And again, it's going to look kind of weird. Actually, I took it off the wrong side. Okay, so that's okay. I'll just flip the cup around. Now, take the edge. You want to align it. So I like to have just a tiny little bit of my cup showing at the top, because I want to make sure I have a really good seal. And I'm going to line this up. Let me see if I can pull this in here so you can see what I'm doing. I hope you can see. This is my first time trying to do this video like this. I want to align that right up against that tape. I'm going to gently press it just in case I have to reposition it. I want to bring my black line, which is my vinyl, right up against my blue tape, and I just gonna reposition it a couple times, making sure that I have it there. And now I'm aligned. I have one little spot that's off a little bit, so I'm gonna try and lift this up, because that's the whole thing is you don't want to press your vinyl down really hard yet, because you really don't want it adhering until you're sure. I can see that I'm straight all the way up to here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press that part down, I'm gonna lift this part up, and now I'm gonna just reposition it so that I'm right up against my tape. Okay, so you can see I'm right up against my tape, and give it a real good press, and press down that vinyl that you have exposed in the back. Try to get out all your wrinkles. And this is another reason why you only want to do a little bit at a time. So you're going to peel it back just an inch or two, and you're going to continue. I found that if I roll it, and what I'm doing now is I'm just coming along and I'm pressing. You want to make sure that you're staying even on your bottom and your top. If you're not, and you haven't pressed too hard, you'll be able to peel it back just a little bit and realign it. If you press down too much before you get this lined up, your vinyl's already stuck and you're kind of committed at that point. So we definitely want to make sure that we're moving slowly. Then I'll roll it back. I will pull back a little more, and if I'm finding that I'm getting some lifting, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to put my piece back down. So I want to make sure all my vinyl stays in place, because I'm actually going to weed right off of my cup. Sorry, I'm trying to get this done. See, I'm just pulling this back, making sure, having a little problem there. But that's okay, because then you can see how I deal with this. All right, just push it down, tack it to your transfer paper, bring it back a little bit, nice and slow. You don't want to rip it off. You don't want to pull it hard. And again, I'm coming back like about 2 inches or so. I'm going to press this down, and then I'm going to flip my cup back over, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm aligning. I like to hold the other edge and pull it around. If you get a little bubble, that's okay at this point, because you're not so far that it's not going to smooth out, and just keep it going. That's all there is to it. This took me forever to figure out, and then once I figured it out, it was like, wow, that made things so much easier for me. Because trying to do a whole wrap, I can't even tell you how many pieces of vinyl I wasted trying to get it to go on straight. I tried doing it from the middle, and that just didn't work out. You really want to make sure you rub your design super good, so you're releasing as much, you're adhering it really well to your transfer paper. Sometimes you have to come back in and re-rub it again if it's not grabbing your transfer tape. And I love this transfer tape I got off of Amazon. It's really cheap. And so what I'll do is I'll just come in every once in a while, give it like a rub, just to make sure that it's gonna adhere. And that's all you're gonna do. You're just gonna keep on going nice and slow. It takes a minute. It does. It takes a little bit of time to get it to go on right, but it's so worth it in the long run. And if you start to get, like I said, your vinyl, this is why you're only peeling away. Like you can see, I'm only peeling like a little bit at a time, maximum 2 inches. I'm not brave enough to try and rip the whole back off and try and do it all at once. Gives me much better control when I'm only doing about 2 inches at a time. And then I'm just gonna, I like to flip my cup over, so I'll hold all this in my hand and slowly bring it up into the cup. And then once I get it, I tend to go from the top to the bottom and press down. You'll see I'm getting a little bit of a bubble here. So what I want to do is I want to come in, I want to lift this up and press. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And you just keep it going, guys. That's all you do. You know, perseverance, patience. Don't get impatient with it. If you do, then you end up having trouble. And sometimes you have trouble anyhow. But that's okay. So we're going to come back, bring it back a little bit more. Press it down. Grab a hold of it. Turn my cup and bring it around. If you find that there's a bubble, then what you want to kind of do is gently, very gently come in, lift, pull it over. Make sure your bottom is staying straight. And that's it. That's all you have to do, guys. Just keep going all the way around. Works out super good most of the time. Sometimes you'll get a piece that just is going to be difficult, which I do. I get them all the time. And that's all you can do is just a little bit of time. Just keep it going. Sometimes it doesn't matter if it gets a little bubble in it because, but you know, you can, once you get the back part off of it, which is the main, I'm going to leave the detailed part of the design on a cup, but I'm going to remove all the backing. So I don't really mind so much if it gets a tiny little wrinkle in it. I just don't want great big huge wrinkles in it. And again, you just want to roll, try and make sure that your cup's staying aligned to where you want it to be. Around. Then when I get to about this point, I'm going to take off this blue tape. And I'm just going to set it off to the side. Peel back your extra, if you left extra of your transfer tape. Just peel it back, remove your blue tape. Now for this part here, what I'm going to actually do, let me see what I'm doing. Sorry, I guess my camera not quite right. Like I said, this is a new way for me to do it. I'm going to start to lift this transfer tape back. If you don't reuse your transfer tape, then you can just roll it onto itself. Sometimes I'll just grab it and I'll just do that because I like to reuse my transfer tape once or twice. So I just leaned it back so it's out of my way. But what that's going to do is going to let me bring my unstuck piece right to the edge. And then if you're getting lifting, like I said, just push, just kind of tap it down onto there. And you're good. We're almost there. So it's patience. It really is. It's, you got to be patient with this part. Okay, so now I'm going to take the rest of my paper off. sure it's sticking. It's not. Just rubbing that back down so that it sticks. If you get a little piece of vinyl that comes off, that's okay. Just save it so you can put it on when you get off. Get your paper off. You get like one piece that's stuck to itself or some kind of weirdness. And you might experience stuff like this. Sometimes I find that the very edge is the hardest part to get off. Because it just doesn't seem to want to release. I don't know why it does this. Sometimes you have to get creative in your peeling. Make sure it doesn't snap onto your cup though. That I'm going to flip this around so I can kind of see what I really can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I have this one little area right here that I'm having trouble getting off the transfer tape because my transfer tape didn't come quite all the way up. There we go. All right. Like all these little tiny pieces on this design and they don't like to come off. There we go. Okay, now this is the trickiest part, is this now you want to align your edge, so you want to really give it a pull. I kind of came off a little bit here, so I'm gonna have to adjust. And there we go. So, got your vinyl all on. If you have a little bubble, that's okay. When you just gently lift it off and reposition it, because I haven't pressed it too hard yet. Usually that works out pretty good. And then just give it a good press. Make sure you push all your vinyl down. You can use widget to really kind of come in and press everything down so it's not going to lift. off on you. And then just peel off your transfer tape. So what I like to do is I like to put my transfer tape back on the paper, and I'll just unroll it. Making sure that as I go, nothing's lifting off my cup. I'm just gonna unroll it. And then I can reuse. I see it right here is where I'm having problem. So that didn't get pressed down good enough. And now you have your transfer paper is right back onto its backing, so you can reuse that, and you're ready to weed your cup. And like I said, I don't worry too much about some of the wrinkles, as long as my main part of my design that I'm going to leave on the cup is okay. That's important. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in, and normally I'll take a little bit of baby powder. I'll rub it over the top so that I can really see like all the lines, and I'll just weed it right off the cup. Works really good for me. I enjoy it, and plus I can get like a bunch of them done and then turn the television on or something. And if you have, like I said, it have bubbles, you can adjust once you get your backing off, you can adjust that. So it'll all be nice. And that's how I actually ended up doing the Steel Dawn cup, which is the one that everybody just absolutely went gaga for. I will do, I don't know if I necessarily need to do a tutorial for it, but I will share that with people. I just thought it was a really cool look to have the stainless steel and the black vinyl exposed. So there you go, guys. That's how you do it. Have a good day. Bye. Happy crafting.